Now it's my honor to introduce our ASB President, Evan Lippo.
So here we are, class of 2008, finally graduating from high school. I think it's pretty fitting that our class gets sprung into the real world on Friday the 13th. The same class that had an emergency assembly in junior high and heard the distinct words, "worst class ever," spill from Miss Rossi's mouth. The same class that had a masked streaker run across the field during the Powder Puff football game last year, who is still unknown to this day. By the way, Miss Merkovich, that was Cody Buddy. And the same class who put a golf cart on top of the roof for our senior prank. Somehow, throughout it all, for the most part, we all made it. I say for the most part because we did lose one of our own along the way in Ben Davis. And although he's not here physically, I think it's safe to say that we feel Ben here in spirit. For some of us, it was not pretty, but in the end, we made it here, and we are now ready for the next step in our lives. But let us not forget what it took to get here. We all came together at Martinez Junior High, way back in the 6th grade, where we immediately went through the tragedy of September 11th at school and watched the TV screen with horror in every class that day. We built pyramids with our backpacks and went to the bathrooms with handmade gas masks the day that the Shell refinery erupted, stranding us in class for hours. And we came up 1 point short of being the first class to win the student versus staff basketball game in the 8th grade. And then it was time to move on to high school. Here we went through the infamous dog years of Martinez. 4 of the most memorable years of our lives are now gone, and we will all have memories to last us a lifetime. Whether it was who we ate lunch with, classes we had, or weekend nights, each and every one of us has a special set of memories. For me, I will always remember learning about the Berkeley riots in Mr. Shane's class from a first-hand source. I will always remember making it to the NCS championship for football my junior year alongside my best friends. And last but not least, I will always remember the cheese zombies that were so forcibly pried from our lunch pallets after freshman year. There's prom, Disneyland, sports, homecoming, or a play, amongst others. Everybody has made at least one memory here as a Bulldog. But enough reflecting, let's look toward the future. What does our class have to bring into society? What should you look out for? Who are the names to remember? Keep your eyes open for Republican candidate Greg Ertl running against big-time liberal Brendan Rapicki in 30 years in the most heated election since Hillary versus Obama. When you go to the movies in 10 years, don't be shocked to see Hollywood's latest blockbuster starring homecoming king Blake Rozier or perhaps Bethany Walls. Listen for Cars slapping the latest hit from national phenom BTH, starring lead singer, as I used to call him in preschool, Jofus Ga. If you take your kids to the Raider game, don't be shocked if you see Corey Allison or Rory Graves out on the field doing their thing, or perhaps sports broadcaster Kevin Kennedy up in the booth doing the play-by-play. And if there are some fans behind you getting a little too rowdy, well, chances are that's Brandon Nichols and Andrew Willis having a little too much fun. If a Bulldog is to ever win the Nobel Peace Prize, I'd say Pat Warner or perhaps Ryan Quigley has as good a chance as anybody. If somebody is to find the cure to cancer, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Laura Rice or even Big Red Stu Krantz. When your kids get into high school, their teachers could very well be sitting a student graduating here today. Let's hope that they get Mr. Kluber for English, Miss Fisher for journalism, Mr. Jensen for creative writing, or perhaps Mr. Lavasic when it comes time for calculus. If you have a daughter who decides to play sports, she could play water polo for Coach Moran, or perhaps go the cheerleading route with Coach Monica Williams. But don't forget to get your grades cleared with our AD, Coach Urtola. And no, Anthony, I don't mean Pat. And when you're dropping your kid off, watch out for Daniel Nilsson when you're pulling out of the parking lot, trying to figure out how to maneuver his newly purchased minivan after him and Brianna's fourth child. No matter what the occupation, all of us will have an effect on society. For better or for worse, we are the future. But as we go on with our lives, let us not forget the dog years. The years of early morning classes, Friday night lights, and the variety of familiar faces. Try not to forget that awkward feeling after walking past one of the Jennings twins in the hall and saying, "Oh, hey Caitlin," and then 3 steps later scratching your head and looking back wondering, "Shoot, was that even Caitlin or was that Kirsten?" Let us not forget Melinda Ayers' ear-piercing laugh, Sarah Walton's constant exuberance of energy, or the Drew McNabb trademark, And before I go to sit down, I want to leave you with a quote from Charles M. Schulz, the author from Snoopy. He says, "Why can't we get all the people together in the world that we really like and then just have them stay together? I guess that wouldn't work. Someone would leave. People always leave. Then we have to say goodbyes. I hate goodbyes. I know what I need. I need more hellos." End quote. So while we should all be excited to go out into the world and say lots of hellos and meet new people, I say goodbye to all of you today. I will miss each and every one of you, and I wish you all the best of luck with what you decide to pursue for the rest of your lives. Go Dogs. Thank you.